Hi, guys. Good evening. Welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host, Eddie, and in tonight's video, I'll be doing my episode review for the latest episode of Containment on the CW, which debuted last night. It was pretty good. It was pretty damn good, and I liked how it ended as well. Now, before I start babbling on, of course, please be warned. Like all of my episode review videos, this will be full of big spoilers regarding the most recent episode of Containment. So if you are not caught up, or if you're behind by a few episodes, do not continue watching or listening to this video, as I will be discussing big spoilers. And once you are caught up, come on back and give it a listen and a watch. I think you'll like it. So you have been warned. That being said, very good episode. We saw. I think that this was the episode where the characters are finally starting to interconnect with each other, because we saw the young pregnant couple end up at the company where Jana works at, and we also saw, some, we saw some human redemption in some of our characters as well. Leo, despite his sleazy intentions, is actually now trying to help Lex discover the truth, because why did they lie about who Patient Zero was? I mean, why did they lie about the fact about the first two people who actually died? What is the real story behind this disease? Is it a terrorist weapon, or is it Uncle Sam's bioweapon? We don't know. What I also liked about this episode, because as we saw in the last episode, one of the gang members who's taking control of the grocery store with where Xander's girlfriend and her mom work, one of them was coughing, starting to get sick. And when Xander tells the gang leader about it, he tells him, look, you can just let me and my girlfriend go, which we want to do anyway, or you're going to have to kick your buddy out because he's getting sick. And sure enough, what does he do? And I thought to myself, as soon as he told him that, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go to the back room and shoot his buddy. And sure enough, what happened? He shot his man in the head. And the thing is, we don't even know if he was getting sick. He just started to cough suddenly. Granted, he probably was getting sick. In all likelihood, he probably was getting sick. But just the ruthlessness of the act itself, where the gang leader, without hesitation, goes back there, shoots one of his own men in the head, and he's like, problem solved. Oh well, big deal. Back to making a living. And what this episode also demonstrated was that, this is all fiction that we're watching here. This is all made up, but the situation could be real. It's a very potentially dangerous situation. And from what I've seen, from what I've observed, I myself have really never been part of a major disaster or crisis. I think the closest I got was years ago back home when I was a kid. We had a tornado get awfully close to our house where we were living at the time, and it just passed us by this much, but it was causing enough ruckus outside to make it feel like it was going to rip the house out of the ground and send us all flying. It was pretty scary. It was a pretty bad tornado/thunderstorm. But fortunately, no one was hurt. There was some property damage, but nothing that couldn't be undone. Anyway, my point is, from what I've observed, when we've seen past major disasters and crises like earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, stuff like that, disasters and crises sometimes bring out the best or the worst in people. And what I mean by that is that we see people go out of their way to help their fellow man, to show nothing but compassion and support to somebody else in need. We saw the little boy bringing water to the sick man that our group was looking for earlier. What was his name? Quentin's friend. Yeah, Quentin's friend. They went out to look for him, and they found him. He looked all right, and he doesn't seem to be sick. And he was helping a sick person drink some water, which was a really sweet moment. Risky, but a nice, tender moment. And then another example of the exact opposite, how a crisis can bring out the worst in someone. the gang leader shooting his own man in the head. He may or may not have been sick, or he probably was sick and he thought he was sparing him, but he was also doing it to protect everybody else in the store. And then we also see people like the bikers, the bikers who were terrorizing Jenna in the parking garage in the last episode, and now they're terrorizing the young cop, and they're terrorizing the cop and Katie on the baseball diamond. They're driving around them like it was freaking Mad Max, and now they had some four-wheelers next to the dirt bikes. And then the gang leader taking advantage of the situation, stealing a bunch of food, relief items from the people, and then selling it back to them, probably for an outrageous price. Because even in this little post-apocalyptic scenario, why not make a buck, huh? And obviously he doesn't really feel that bad about it, and he's forcing the people who do own the store to work for him. He's making Xander, his girlfriend, and her mother all work for them. But that's when they decide enough is enough, and they decide to escape. And thanks to the girl's mother, she creates a diversion so Xander and his girlfriend can get out of there, so they can get to a place safely and soon, because she's about to have her baby. Unfortunately, what they don't realize is that in the supply bag that the mom made for them, it turns out she stole the satellite phone that the undercover cop was sent in with. That we saw him talking to the police chief in the last scene of last week's episode, where he's confirmed that he's entered the cordon, and now he's on site ready to talk and bring his chief up to date on what's going on. Unfortunately, that phone was taken from him, and now it's in the hands of the pregnant couple. And at the very final scene of the episode, it's like, oh good, the mother made it out of the store. She followed them back to the data recovery center, and oh no, damn it, the gang was right there with her. It's, of course, they're holding her hostage in exchange for getting the phone back. And the worst part is that the two kids probably didn't even realize the phone was there until they were digging through the supply bag. Another kind of amusing aspect to this episode was that when you're in an emergency situation, apocalyptic or just a temporary crisis, it's good to have on your side, on your team, in your group of survivors, a building engineer, especially when the AC goes out, because this was about Jenna and I think his name is Sam, the building engineer. They were trying to get the AC back on inside the building, because it's, of course, the heat outside is just reaching scorching levels, making it unbearable. And of course, I was like, God, that's a really good point. Let's have the building engineer fix the AC. What a perfect asset to this group in this survival situation. You've got an AC building engineer. Who wouldn't you rather have on your team? And the man knows how to handle himself. I mean, he saved Jenna from the bike raider guys. And, and he's proven to be a pretty powerful ally up until this point. And this episode, unlike previous ones, ended on what I would call more of a cliffhanger, because now we have this bad hostage situation escalating where the pregnant girlfriend's mother is being held hostage by the gang, who probably wants their phone back. I don't know if they really give a damn about the young couple who escaped. They probably don't really care that much about them. I mean, they're going to be missing some labor, but they can do the work themselves. They just want that phone back because they realize, gives them the upper hand in this quarantine situation. It gives them more power, so to speak. I'm not sure what the angle of the cop is, who's claiming he's not a cop anymore and that he wants in on the action. He wants a cut of the profits being made of the food being sold back to the refugees. We're not entirely sure what his motives are, and it'll be interesting to see how this all unfolds next week's episode, and if they'll reveal as to why this outbreak was being covered up, or at least why they lied about the first victim. We'll see. Well, despite the show being, quote, canceled, and I do canceled because I don't think it was ever meant to have 2 seasons. It said a 13-episode event, implying a mini-series anyway. At least that's how I looked at it. It's still enjoyable. I'm still going to watch it till the end, and I hope you guys do too. I think it's a pretty damn good show. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video here on the EdWord. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more episode reviews like this one. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page in the description down below. Please leave your thoughts, opinions, and feedback down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think of this episode? What was your favorite part? What do you think is going to happen in next week's episode? What do you think of the different evolution of different relationships between all these characters, and finally characters interconnecting with each other? Let me know what you think down below. I'd love to hear from everybody. All right, guys, have a great rest of the night. Thanks again for stopping by. Don't forget, Containment premieres with a new episode every Tuesday night on the CW. Check it out. It's pretty good. All right, guys, have a great rest of the night. Thanks again for stopping by. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.